this, my President Lagu Bharati to kindly deliver the welcome and team at setting at ease.
A very good morning to one and all. Dignitaries on the dais, chief guest of today's function, Sri B.C. Patil, Minister for Agriculture, Government of Karnataka, Dr. E.V. Ramana Reddy, Additional Chief Secretary, Department of ITBT, Government of Karnataka, Sri Chris Gopal Krishnan, former CEO, Infosys Technology and Chairman of Exilor Ventures, Professor Dr. Subarna Ayappanji, Honorable Chancellor, Central Agriculture University, Imphal, and Chairman of Karnataka Science and Technology Academy, Mr. Joseph Abraham, Council for Trade and Economic Affairs of Israel in India, Dr. S. Rajendra Prasad Ji, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Agriculture Sciences, Bangalore, and our own General Secretary, Narayan Prasanna. All the exhibitors who are put up their stalls out here, distinguished member participants, and invitees. A very good morning to you all. On behalf of Lagu Bharati and IMS Foundation, may I extend a very warm welcome to all the distinguished guests present here to participate in the third edition of TechBharat. Let me have the pleasure of introducing Lagu Bharati and IMS Foundation to you all. IMS Foundation is the single largest collaborative platform of all domestic and overseas manufacturing entities, especially the micro, small and medium enterprises. It works extensively in promoting and encouraging the startup ecosystem across the nation. While Lagu Bharati Karnataka, having a membership of more than 1,200 MSMEs, is the state chapter of LUB catering in 24 districts of Karnataka and works towards the empowerment of entrepreneurs in micro, small and medium enterprises. It plays a significant role in promoting the trade and investments in the state. Being the apex organization in Karnataka for MSMEs, it regularly interacts with state government officials both at the state and central level on the critical issues concerning the MSME. Lagu Bharati Karnataka is also represented on the boards of KSSIDC, Karnataka State Pollution Control Board, KIADB and several task forces and advisory committees of both Government of Karnataka and the central government. Lagu Bharati is involved in activities like capacity building programs for entrepreneurs, industrial visit to showcase the best practices and encourage the MSMEs to adopt and replicate the same, interactive meetings with the government departments, participation in national and international exhibitions and trade fairs, hosting of national and international exhibitions, hosting international business delegations for technology transfer, B2B, joint ventures and collaborations, promoting and developing rural artisans, helping women entrepreneurs and have a special women entrepreneurship cell in LUB. Coming back to the third edition of TechBharat, this time it is focusing on transforming India's food tech, agri-tech and the agronomic landscape with a broader spotlight on two significant important trades, that is agri-tech and food tech. TechBharat is a flagship program of IMS Foundation and Lagu Bharati Karnataka to effectively bring in the stakeholders from across the globe on its platform to cultivate trust, coordinate networking, look for collaborative business partners with Indian counterparts, and facilitate a structured transfer of technology and constantly engage in doing business with Government of India, state governments, leading enterprises, startups, research institutes of national repute in achieving an effective and sustained result in several domains of importance of economic growth of the nation. After resounding success of the first and second edition of TechBharat, the third edition of TechBharat is being held in three parts, namely the pre-event, the connecting event, and the final event. The pre-event was organized on January 5th in Belgavi. The connecting event is at University of Agricultural Sciences in Bangalore, that is on 4th and 5th, that is today and tomorrow. And the main event is scheduled for on 19th, 20th and 21st of May at CFTRI campus in Mysore. As compared to the last two editions, the third edition is being organized on a higher scale, and this has been hosted also on the hybrid mode and will be covering more than 10,000 participants virtually and 10,000 participants physically participating across all these three events. Over 100 webinars pertaining to important topics with over 200 hours of virtual session, 50 event speakers, 250 exhibitors, more than 100 business meets. At the main event, 50 or more collaborations, 50 or more representations from the government, 20 or more challenges for hackathon as well as the ideathon are expected for these particular events. The challenge statements for the hackathon and ideathon is already launched at the various industry circles and educational institutions. The solution for the problem statements are already pouring in. A jury of eminent panelists will finally award a few blue-eyed solutions during the main event in Mysore. Let me share a brief overview of TechBharat 3.0. The two tracks, that is Agri-Tech as well as Food Tech, will cover various topics including the technological intervention for agriculture sector, advanced technologies in food processing, the FPOs and its way forward, agriculture, e-commerce, export market opportunities for agri-products, public-private partnerships, countering the risks in agriculture, initiatives for digital transformation in agriculture, scaling up the food tech, growth of online food marketplace, technology for food supply chains, testing and certification of packaged foods, value addition and food processing technologies, policy and advocacy for food and nutrition. As we all understand, food and agri-tech are two vital streams that will drive the economy of the future. The GDP growth will significantly be dependent on this across the globe. By organizing TechBharat, we at Lagudyog Bharati Karnataka and IMS Foundation would like to do our small bit by contributing to the growth of Indian economy. Over the next 2 days from now, you will be listening to some of the best domain experts from these two tracks. The experts from government, industry captains, academic torchbearers, established and aspiring entrepreneurs, influential mentors and motivators will be sharing their thoughts with us all. With this small overview of TechBharat, I once again take this opportunity to extend a very, very warm welcome to you all, distinguished guests, invitees and participants out here. So, thank you very much.
And IMS Foundation to the audience, and also listing out various activities that Lagudyog Bharati has been involved in promoting business in the state. I now request all the
ಸರಿ
I call upon, I request Sri Arun Gake, Executive Committee Member, Dr. Subhana Ayappa, Abraham, Council for Trade and Economic Affairs of Israel in India. I call upon Sri Srikanta Datta to honor Dr. S. Rajendra Prasad. Make in India and made in India. Maximum speed of 10,000 km/h with a range of 210 km. Both these vehicles will be live from May 19, 2022 with 500 vehicles across Bangalore. It can run 45 kilometers on a single charge with a maximum speed of 25 kilometers. Kettle is maintained at 70 degrees centigrade temperature for 4 to 5 coffees. Sir. 300 cups of 600 ml.
Yes, sir.
TechBharat ಶೀರ್ಷಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯೋಜಿಸಿದಂಥ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷತೆಯನ್ನು ವಹಿಸಿದಂಥ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಕೃಷಿ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳಾದಂಥ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ರಾಜೇಂದ್ರ ಪ್ರಸಾದ್ ಅವರೇ, ವೇದಿಕೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತಿರುವಂಥ ಶ್ರೀ ಸಚಿನ್ ಸೋಮೇನ್ ಅವರೇ, ಗೋಪಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣನ್ ಅವರೇ, ಅಡಿಷನಲ್ ಚೀಫ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿ ಆದಂಥ ವಿ ರಮಣ್ ರೆಡ್ಡಿ ಅವರೇ, ಜೋಸೆಫ್ ಅಬ್ರಾಹಿಂ ಅವರೇ, ಸುಬ್ಬಣ್ಣ ಅಯ್ಯಪ್ಪ ಅವರೇ, ನಾರಾಯಣ ಪ್ರಸನ್ನ ಅವರೇ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆರೆದಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ಬಂಧುಗಳೇ, ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರೇ, ಅಧ್ಯಾಪಕ ಮಿತ್ರರೇ, ಪತ್ರಿಕಾ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ, ಇವತ್ತು ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷದಿಂದ ಲಘು ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಆಯೋಜಿಸಿದಂಥ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷದಿಂದ ನಾನು ಉದ್ಘಾಟನೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಇವತ್ತು IT-BT ರಂಗಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೃಷಿ ಪ್ರವೇಶ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಭಾಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ. ಕೃಷಿಯ ಮಹತ್ವ ಈಗ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಅರಿವಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಕೃಷಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಈ ಜಗತ್ತು ಇರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಕೃಷಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಕೃಷಿ ಮೂಲ, ಕೃಷಿಯ ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರಿಗೆ, ಗ್ರಾಹಕರಿಗೆ ತಲುಪಿಸುವಂಥ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ, ಅದರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಬರುವಂಥ ಈ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡೋದ್ರ ಮೂಲಕ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವೇನು ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಬರೀ ಮಾಲ್ಗಳಿಂದ ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಅದನ್ನು ಇವತ್ತು ಅಗ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲೇ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ತಾಲೂಕು ಮಟ್ಟಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಹಾರ ಸಂಸ್ಕರಣೆಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಗ್ರಾಹಕರಿಗೆ ತಲುಪಿಸುವಂಥ ಕೆಲಸ ಇವತ್ತೇನು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷ. ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಅದ್ಭುತವಾದ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಕೈ ಹಾಕಿರೋದು ಲಘು ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿ ಶ್ರೀ ನರೇಂದ್ರ ಮೋದಿಜಿಯವರು ಡಬ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಬೈ 2023 ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೇಕ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಇವತ್ತು ಅದು ಕಾರ್ಯಗತಗೊಳ್ತಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋಂಥದ್ದು ಕೂಡ ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷದ ವಿಷಯ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಇಡೀ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಬರ್ 1ನೇ ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಮತ್ತು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದು ಜಗತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ 4ನೇ ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ಯುನೆಸ್ಕೋ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಘೋಷಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು 1ನೇ ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ, ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು 4ನೇ ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಜಗತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಯುನೆಸ್ಕೋ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಘೋಷಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ತುಂಬ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ಸಂಗತಿ. ಸರ್ ಎಂ ವಿಶ್ವೇಶ್ವರಯ್ಯನವರು 1912ರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ರೈತರ ಆದಾಯವನ್ನು ದ್ವಿಗುಣ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋಂಥ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರಾವರಿ ಮತ್ತು ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೀಕರಣಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪೆರಿಶ್ ಎಂಬ ಘೋಷಣೆ ನೀಡಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಗತಗೊಳಿಸಿದರು. ಅವರು ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ಗಳಿಂದ ಇವತ್ತು ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು 2014ರಿಂದ 2018ರವರೆಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು 50,000 ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ಗಳು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 2019 ಒಂದೇ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ 9,300 ಅಗ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ಗಳು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಯಿತು. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೃಷಿಗಾಗಿ 474 ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ನಗರದಲ್ಲಿ 4,000 ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ಗಳು ತಲೆ ಎತ್ತಿದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿ ದಿವಸ 2ರಿಂದ 3 ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ಗಳು ಉದಯಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಸುಮಾರು 40,000 ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ, ಇದರಿಂದ 1.6 to 1.7 lakhs ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಜನರಿಗೆ ದೊರೆತಿದೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಇಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಯುವಕರು ಏನು ಪಟ್ಟಣಗಳ ಕಡೆ ಮುಖ ಮಾಡಿ ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳು ಒಂಥರ ವೃದ್ಧಾಶ್ರಮ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ಇವತ್ತು ಪುನಃ ಯುವಕರು ಮತ್ತೆ ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳ ಕಡೆ ಮುಖ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಯುವಕರು ವಿದ್ಯಾವಂತರು ಕೃಷಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಕೃಷಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಆಧುನಿಕ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನಗಳನ್ನು ಕೃಷಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಳವಡಿಸುವ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಆಸಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ವಹಿಸ್ತಿರೋದು ಇವತ್ತು ಕೃಷಿಕರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಬೆಂಬಲ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಭಾವಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಮ್ಮ 2020-21ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಭಾಳದಿಂದ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯಿಂದ ಹೇಳ್ಕೋಬೋದು. ಕೋವಿಡ್ನಂಥ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ 164 ಲಕ್ಷ ಮೆಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಟನ್ ಆಹಾರವನ್ನು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾನು ತುಂಬ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯಿಂದ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಅದು 10% ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಭಾರತ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಲಿಕೆ ಆಗಿದೆ 3% ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಿಂದ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೂಡ ಇವತ್ತು ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ವಿಷಯ. ಇವತ್ತು ಆಹಾರ ಸಂಸ್ಕರಣಾ ಘಟಕಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲೆಂದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಆತ್ಮನಿರ್ಭರ ಯೋಜನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿ ನರೇಂದ್ರ ಮೋದಿಜಿಯವರು ಇವತ್ತು ಆಹಾರ ಸಂಸ್ಕರಣಾ ಘಟಕಗಳಿಗೆ 10,000 ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿಗಳನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಫಂಡ್ಗೆ 1 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿಗಳನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು 35% ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡೋದ್ರ ಮೂಲಕ ರೈತರಿಗೆ ಕೃಷಿ ಉದ್ಯಮಗಳನ್ನು, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಉತ್ತೇಜನವನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರ 10 ಲಕ್ಷವರೆಗೂ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರ 5 ಲಕ್ಷ, ಒಟ್ಟು 15 ಲಕ್ಷವರೆಗೂ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಈ ಆಹಾರ ಸಂಸ್ಕರಣಾ ಘಟಕಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಕೃಷಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಉತ್ತೇಜನವನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಲಘು ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಬಹಳ ಉತ್ತಮವಾದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಯುವಕರಿಗೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ರೂಪಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಪ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡೋದ್ರ ಮೂಲಕ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ನೌಕರಿ ಮೇಲೇ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗದೆ ಸ್ವಯಂ ಉದ್ಯೋಗಗಳನ್ನು ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಮೇಕ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಏನಿದೆ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವೀಗ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಈಗ ತಾನೇ ಒಂದು ಬೈಕನ್ನು ನಾವು ಉದ್ಘಾಟನೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು 10 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಆ್ಯಪನ್ನು ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಳಿದರೆ 10 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಟೀ ಬೇಕಾದರೆ ಟೀ, ಕಾಫಿ ಬೇಕಾದರೆ ಕಾಫಿ, ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಟೀ ಬೇಕಾದರೆ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಟೀಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡುವಂಥ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. ಅದನ್ನು ಸುಮಾರು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ 500 ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ಬಂದುಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಈಗ ಹೋಟೆಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ತಿನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಅಮೆಜಾನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲೇ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಇದೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಟೀ ಕಾಫಿಗೂ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಭಾಳ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ವಿಷಯ. ಈ ಸಮಾರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಆಹ್ವಾನಿಸಿ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಉದ್ಘಾಟನೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ ಟೆಕ್ ಭಾರತ್ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಿಗೂ ಪದಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ವಂದಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನಿರ್ಗಮಿಸಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಕಾರಣ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಈಗ 12:30 ಮಂಡನೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅದರ ಮುಂಚೆ ಕ್ಯಾಬಿನೆಟ್ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಯಶಸ್ವಿಯಾಗಲಿ, ಇದರ ಉಪಯೋಗ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ತಲುಪಲಿ, ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಕೃಷಿಕರಿಗೆ. ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಂತೋಷ ಏನಂದರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಕನ್ನಡಪ್ರಭ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಯವರು ಕೂಡ ರೈತ ರತ್ನ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಈ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ, ರೈತರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಾಳಜಿ ವಹಿಸ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವತ್ತು ಅವ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಆಸಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ವಹಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾಳೆ ವಿಜಯ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದವರು ಸೂಪರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ರೈತ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಕೂಡ ನಾಳೆ ಇದೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಒಂದೇ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಮೊದಲು ಈ ಪಂಚೆಯವ್ರನ್ನ ರೈತರನ್ನ ಯಾರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಕೋಟಿ ಮಂದಿ ನಮ್ಮ ರೈತರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಾಳಜಿ ವಹಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಹಳ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ. ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು, ಕೃಷಿತೋ ನಾಸ್ತಿ ದುರ್ಭಿಕ್ಷಂ. ಕೃಷಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಹೋದರೆ ದುರ್ಭಿಕ್ಷೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಕೃಷಿ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆ, ಕೃಷಿ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಕೂಡ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಕೃಷಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಹೋದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ತಿನ್ನಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅನ್ನ ಕೂಡ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಥ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಕೃಷಿಯನ್ನು ಉದ್ಯಮವನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿ, ಕೃಷಿ ರೈತೋದ್ಯಮ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಕೃಷಿ ಉದ್ಯಮ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಆ ಉದ್ಯಮದಿಂದ ರೈತರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಆದಾಯ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಆದಾಯ ಬರಬೇಕು, ತನ್ಮೂಲಕ ಗ್ರಾಹಕರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಉತ್ತಮವಾದಂಥ ವಸ್ತುಗಳು ಸಿಗಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಲಘು ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಆಯೋಜಿಸಿದಂಥ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಅರ್ಥಗರ್ಭಿತವಾಗಿದೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಈ ನಡೆಯುವಂಥ 3 ದಿನಗಳ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಯಶಸ್ವಿಯಾಗಲಿ, ಇದರ ಸದುಪಯೋಗ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ, ತಾವು ಕೂಡ ಅದರ ಉಪಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಪಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಈ ಮೂಲಕ ವಿನಂತಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನನ್ನ ಮಾತು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಜೈ ಹಿಂದ್, ಜೈ ಕಿಸಾನ್.
Thanks a lot, sir, for indicating that the youth are now to kindly address us. In fact, he's the architect of TechBharat and has been standing like a rock and guiding and supporting us in everything which we do. Thank you.
Sri B.C. Patil, Dr. E.V. Ramana Reddy, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Professor Subhana Ayappan, Sri Joseph Abraham, Sachin Sabnis, Narayana Krishna. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, first of all, let me congratulate IMS Foundation and Inauguration Bharati, Karnataka, for sustaining TechBharat, and this year it's the 3rd edition. So let me congratulate and compliment them. It's also mega event is in Mysore in May. So that itself is an innovative way of bringing together on TechBharat platform. So congratulations to IMS Foundation and Inauguration Bharati. Our Prime Minister has clearly articulated the goals that we want to achieve, doubling farmer income. I firmly believe that we can consider ourselves to be a developed country only if the farmers, every single farmer earns a good living out of the hard work they do. I support entrepreneurship in a big way, and when I look at a farmer, I strongly believe that a farmer is, in my belief, the most courageous entrepreneur because they actually give their life. If the crop for the season does not succeed, and if they become indebted, sometimes they give their life. In that sense, to me, this is the most courageous entrepreneur. And in the last 3-4 years, I have started supporting farmers, but I consider them as entrepreneurs. And there are 3 interventions that I believe are very important, and I'm very happy to see that TechBharat 2022 are looking at every one of those three interventions. First and foremost is the introduction of technology, of course. Today, in every sector, every industry, every work, every aspect of our life, introduction of technology will create a positive impact. And we need to make sure that the technology is affordable, accessible, is user-friendly to the farmer, and it covers every aspect of farming, all the way from input, the seeds, to when to plant, the timing, irrigation, such that it's a sustainable model. Then what kind of fertilizer to be used, and more we are seeing now the introduction of organic, biodynamic, regenerative agriculture taking root in India, such that we can replenish the soil as we cultivate. That's regenerative agriculture. Again, that's part of the technology that we can now bring to agriculture. To harvesting, then post-harvest processing, connecting to, of course, warehousing, storage, value addition, and then connecting to market. Every part of this value chain will benefit from the introduction of technology, and there are many startups and established organizations that are actually working in this complete value chain. So introduction of technology is the first way we can actually improve the productivity, and this has to be holistically implemented. That means what crop to plant where, it has to start from that point all the way to hand-holding the farmer through the sale of the produce to get the returns that they expect. The second part of technology, and I consider this also part of technology because, what is business model? Business model is the use of technology to rethink how the business is conducted. And the business model that I am proposing is not new. This has been presented to the world by India. What I am talking about is the Amul model of cooperative. In the case of Amul, it's cooperative milk production. But in the case of farmers, we need to look at how do we scale up the land that's cultivated, how do we increase the ability of farmers to buy the inputs that are required, the processing equipment that's required, the value addition at the end. All of these things can be done at lower cost when the scale increases. And what I'm talking about is farmer-producer organization concept of cooperative farming. I believe that we need to promote this in a big way. And I have a couple of additions to this, as part of the business model, and this is something that I've been supporting. Can we support these farmer-producer organizations either through government support or philanthropic support, so that their capital requirements and long gestation farming can be supported through infusion of government grants or philanthropic grants, so that that risk the FPO does not take, the farmer does not take, but it can be done through philanthropy or government grants. So, for example, in coffee production, from the planting of the coffee plant to harvesting, it takes 6-7 years, right? So, can the farmer be supported through those 6-7 years, and the planting can be done through philanthropic activity. Once the production starts, of course, once the harvest is possible in the 6th, 7th year, the farmer then takes over and spends from his or her pocket. Similarly, when you want to process millets, etc., it's important to look at the best equipment that can actually bring the highest value and highest quality. And again, we need to make sure that such capital expenses are supported. It may be possible to get loans from financial institutions. That could also be looked at. And again, an FPO concept over the years can actually sustain itself because they will be now eligible for loans, etc. So the business model where some support is given through philanthropic funding or government funding is the second aspect. And the third is thinking of agriculture as an export activity. See, one of the things that we have learned in the IT services industry is produce where it's cheaper to produce, sell where you get the maximum profits. So that's why the software development happens here in India, but the customers are all global. And even today, the IT services industry, only 10% of the revenues from India, 90% of the revenues are outside India. But can we look at farming, agriculture as a global export activity? And I'm 100% sure, because I've seen now examples of this, that our farmers can produce world-class food products. And with this, of course, we need to think about world-class quality of our produce. Making sure that we are very careful about the chemicals that we use. We are very careful about the quality and the timing of the produce. We are very conscious about at the right time we harvest. And again, let me share an example here. Again, from coffee actually. We wanted to encourage the farmers to pluck the coffee at the right time, which is at the peak of the ripening, when it's actually bright red in color, cherry red in color. So we said that if you bring all the coffee fruit which is bright red in color, all of the same color, you can actually get double the price. And that encouraged all of them to wait and pluck at the right time. And the result of that is, I'm now talking about our experience in Araku Valley in Andhra Pradesh. The result of that was that coffee got the gold medal in Paris for the best coffee in the world. So, coffee produced by tribals in the Araku Valley in Andhra Pradesh in India got gold medal for the best coffee in the world and sells at almost 10 times what it would normally sell at, 10 times. And that shows that, through careful training, education, through setting incentives properly and appropriately, we can actually aim for world-class quality and we can get significantly higher price for our products. And this is the way in which I believe we can not just double, but treble or increase the farmer income many times. So, in conclusion, I want to just say that use of technology, use of the FPO model, looking at the business model, looking at scale, looking at how we bring together farmers, and the third, looking at farming as an export activity, creating world-class produce, world-class value-added products here in India, and tapping the global markets. We can actually more than double the farmer's income. I've seen this actually happen not just in one place but in other places, in other products also. And I hope that the deliberations over the next 2 days at TechBharat 2022 will inspire, will give knowledge and resources for many such initiatives to happen here in Karnataka. And I wish you all the very best and thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thanks a lot, sir, for terming a farmer and entrepreneur. And that too, IT, and science and technology, government of Karnataka to address us. If IT sector has grown to this stage in Karnataka, EV Raman Reddy, who to a large extent is responsible along with other officers.
Shri Chris Gopal Krishnan sir, Shri Joseph Rajam, Dr. Ayappan sir, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Shri Narayana Prasanna, Shri Sachin Sabnis, IMS Foundation and Lagu Udyog Bharati Karnataka's all members and delegates. Firstly, I would like to thank you for inviting me to this event. IMS Foundation and Lagu Udyog Bharati Karnataka are working closely with Government of Karnataka over the years on many fronts, and I am pleased to interact with you once again on this occasion, and I want to acknowledge their contribution on two things. Lagu Udyog Bharati contributes immensely to not only Karnataka state but other states' MSME policies from time to time. I wanted to acknowledge this. And I am also told that Lagu Udyog Bharati's contribution in setting up a Department of MSME in Government of India is also immense. So now Government of India has a separate Secretary MSME and Department of MSME. Because of these two, I hope that MSMEs will go faster and reach greater heights. Also, a very warm welcome to all the participants in this year's edition of TechBharat and members of the media. I would like to begin by giving a context of Karnataka's startup and technology ecosystem. Karnataka is a global innovation hub with more than 400 global capability centers or R&D centers and 4,000 plus startups in Bangalore and Karnataka. Karnataka was rated as #1 on India Innovation Index by the NITI Aayog for the last 2 successive years. And Bangalore is the 4th largest technology cluster in the world. And we have 85 plus incubators and accelerators in Karnataka with 400 plus VC funds and 4,000 plus angel investors. That is to say that Karnataka is a very vibrant and promising startup ecosystem. And Bangalore, these days every day we see in the newspapers, today one unicorn is born, after 1 week another unicorn is born. In fact, in India, last year, every 5th day a unicorn was born in India. And if you take the valuations, the Bangalore unicorns have a total valuation of $138 billion against an all India total of $221 billion. A unicorn is said to be one which has a valuation of $1 billion. Now people have gone up to decacorn. They say decacorn means I think 10 billion valuation. There are 3 decacorns in Karnataka, whereas India has only 4. So out of 4, 3 are in Karnataka. So such is the startup ecosystem, and such is the innovation ecosystem in Karnataka. And when we come to the agri and food sector, we are number one in coffee, as already coffee, this Gopalakrishnan sir has mentioned about the coffee, ragi, sunflower, gherkins, and we are one of the largest producers of milk. We are the third highest state for poultry meat production, third largest state in certified organic produce, and we have large number of cold storage units and with a capacity of 3,000 metric tons. So all these aspects combined with the thriving startup ecosystem in Karnataka will put us in a great strong position as far as agri and food tech sectors are concerned. We also have good startups in agri sector in Karnataka. For example, there is a startup called D-Hack, which connects farmers to suppliers and buyers in a single platform. Another promising startup is Ninja Cart. It is an app-based B2B platform offering vegetables and fruits. And there is another called CropClean, which provides SaaS-based farming solutions to agri businesses. So these are the promising startups in agri sector in Karnataka. And what Karnataka government is doing. Karnataka government has taken a lot of initiatives in the last 15-20 years. One is we have a very good program called Elevate. This is one of its kind of program in the country, where we encourage startups. Startups will be allowed to pitch in before the jury, independent jury. State government doesn't interfere in that, entirely totally done by independent jury. And we support up to 50 lakh seed funding for each startup. Every year we select 100 startups. This year we have added, the Honorable Chief Minister has added another 100. 75 because this is 75th year of independence. And another 25 he has given, saying that other than Bangalore, beyond Bangalore, we should support 25 women entrepreneurs. So in all, this is a special year where because of the 75th year of independence, we are supporting, normally we support 100, but this year we are supporting 200 startups. And we have excellent policy pushed by the government of Karnataka right from the beginning. Any policy you take, IT, biotech, startup, AVGC, any policies are first in the country. And we have a strong collaboration with the industry and academia. Government, industry and academia works very closely. For example, we have vision groups on IT, biotech and startups. This Gopalakrishnan sir is the chairman of vision group. And similarly, we have one Mr. Prashant Prakash, who is chairing the startup vision group. All these, and we have a dedicated startup cell. All these are contributing to this startup ecosystem. And to encourage this ecosystem, what we have a few more programs. Like we have a program called New Age Incubation Network, where in 30 engineering colleges we have set up this network, where we encourage ideas and provide them incubation support. With higher institutes of learning, we have what is called as technology business incubator. We have set up centers of excellence in collaboration with the associations, maybe IESA, NASCOM, or with the industry. And in addition to that, we have what is called as common instrumentation facility centers, where individual startups will not be able to do on their own because of the economic problem. So they will come there and we will provide them with the common instrumentation facilities. In fact, Israeli consulate representative is here. In agri sector, they have set up 3 centers of excellence. One on pomegranate in Bagalkot, one on tomatoes in Kola, and one on vegetables in Dharwad. So all these centers of excellence and TBIs, CFCs, common instrument CIFs are contributing to this ecosystem. In addition to this, what we felt was our startups should also have exposure to international other countries. So we have what is called as Global Innovation Alliance program, where we have direct tie-up with 20 countries. There we encourage our startups to participate in their programs in various countries. We give them market support. We give them support to participate in international events. And we also hold another event called Bangalore Tech Summit. This year will be 25th year of Bangalore Tech Summit. And there what we do is we encourage our startups to showcase their products and their innovative ideas to the world. So this is how we are trying to encourage from government of Karnataka side. But I would like to acknowledge the contribution of industry and academia for this. Only government cannot do this. and we are getting excellent support from the industry and the academia for this in the initiative. So finally, I would like to encourage all the stakeholders who are participating in this event to utilize these initiatives and the conducive ecosystem of Karnataka and drive the growth in agri and food tech sectors. I am confident that this Tech Summit, TechBharat event, whatever is being organized today, tomorrow, there you will have excellent interactions and you will have fruitful discussion. Thank you, and once again, thank you for inviting me.
Thanks a lot, sir, for showcasing Karnataka as a startup for overseas investors. I now request Dr. Subarna Ayyappan, Honorable Chancellor, Chairman, Karnataka Science and Technology Academy.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರಗಳು. ಈ ಒಂದು ಟೆಕ್ ಭಾರತ್ ಶೃಂಗಸಭೆಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. Esteemed guests on the dais, Shri Krishna Ji, esteemed Chief Secretary, esteemed colleagues from the Israel Embassy this morning, our colleagues from the Laghu Udyog Bharati, Honorable President of the occasion, Dr. S. Rajendra Prasad, Vice Chancellor of University of Agricultural Sciences, colleagues from Laghu Udyog Bharati. We also have the Vice Chancellor from US Harvard, Dr. Chetty, and exhibitors, colleagues and friends. At the outset, I'd like to thank Laghu Udyog Bharati and IMS for this occasion. Already the canvas has been explained, and this occasion I thought it fit to have a few slides presented before you, because I believe, as Shri Chris Ji said, agriculture is a century-old traditional practice. At least 5,000 years of history in India, 10,000 years in Egyptian Valley. So we have been doing farming, my father, grandfather, all that. So it's going on. At this time, what we require is a dose of technology, a new agriculture that has to come up. So in this context, we are talking about transformation in agri and food tech. And I always have this slide presented. I'm sure all of you agree, you are all coming from MSME, you are coming from industry, but I all the time take this opportunity to tell you, as was mentioned, everything depends on agriculture. So we say India first, and I'm sure you would agree farmer first, because that is the basis for all our economic activities. And the next slide shows, this I'm always fond of showing this slide. Mahatma Gandhi, in the first top left, he and Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya, they came to Bangalore in 1927, and they took 2 weeks training in dairy farming. You would be surprised. The father of the nation at that time, during the peak struggle for independence, he thought it fit to come for dairy farming, dairy training. So the point is, successively, over these decades, 75 years of Indian independence, successive leadership have thought it fit to provide that kind of a priority to agriculture. And today what we say is, agriculture is the best of cultures, and there is no culture without agriculture. Do you agree? Thank you on that. And now we are already in 2022, only 8 years left to the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, 8 years left, and 2 years of pandemic already affected us. And at this time, what we are looking at is at least 7 points of the SDGs pertain to agriculture and farming, both terrestrial and aquatic. And that is where we are looking at, a point was mentioned, migration, rural to urban areas. But in these 2 years, we saw a reverse migration, so we thought it's an opportunity, and a health and food link is another strong point for us. So what we are looking at is, in these, at this opportune moment, one is revival of agriculture toward the new agriculture. Second is that interface between MSME or whatever, that entrepreneurship. In fact, Chris Sahab, farmer does not want to be called a farmer today. He says, you call me by any other name, but not a farmer. So So that's where we introduced this word agripreneur. Here we asked him, because he said lawyer, you have a word called advocate, you have a word called attorney, so many things. But for a farmer, it's always a farmer. So we said, okay, you are an agripreneur now. That's what we are looking at. Very quickly, we are trying now just projecting the canvas. This country, our colleagues from the industry kindly note, it's a very, very huge canvas. Just 1.5% of land, 2.5% of water of this country, of the whole world, sustains 17% of the human population. I mean, that's the strength of this country with the kind of biodiversity we have. And it's 18% contribution to the GDP. And I would like to, when it comes to Karnataka, I would like to tell you, it's about 121 lakh hectares of farming, and then mostly dry land farming, but then now increased irrigation is coming up. 5% of the country's food basket, and then it's more 50% of the population in the country is dependent on primary agriculture. That's why agriculture is very important. But the point also to be noted is, it's the small farmers, less than 5 acres of land. And today we are 82%. 82% of the Indian farmers are small farmers. And it's going to be more coming in the coming years with lands getting divided. 90% might be small farmers. From that, we have to produce 75% of the food. And people keep asking us with regard to American agriculture, Israel. We are very happy you are here, esteemed consul. Israel agriculture, a lot of interaction with Israel that's happening. An intensive agriculture vis-a-vis the traditional plus semi-intensive farming happening in this country. But then what we want is, at the end of the day, is sustainable agriculture and remunerative farming. Finally, what is required is food as also money for the farmer. I won't go into this detail, but people keep asking how much food do we produce. For the population 137 crore, for us to be comfortable in this hall today, it's that much of food, 308 million tons of food grains, always talked about. But then kindly look at fruits, vegetables, milk, meat, fish, egg, and all that comes in the food basket, food spectrum. And that's why I always talk of 900 million tons plus. It is not 308, 900 million tons. We are making this point because many MSMEs, a point is also made with regard to primary processing, value addition. Now this is the canvas you have. It is not 300 million tons of food grains, it is 900 million tons of food in different forms. So what we require today is an investment, an infrastructure for that value addition, and then for that food quality. A word was mentioned by you, sir, quality. What we require is quality assurance, food safety, antimicrobial residues, and so on. It goes on. So that's the canvas, and that's where we invite you into the domain of agriculture. Sitting in the campus of University of Agricultural Sciences, I am also an alumnus of this university, and grateful that this university has given me this capacity to speak. Whenever I come here, I always go down to the Vice Chancellor, whoever it is, and at this occasion, what the farmer wants today, sirs, madams, I would like to tell you, he wants profit. At the same time, as our honorable minister said, he wants respect. Please note, today the farmers want dignity. They want profit, at the same time respect, prestige in the society. I am sure a gathering like this, discussing on agriculture, would be a tribute to the farmer, and thank you very much for coming to this domain. And now what do we talk of future of farming? Very quickly, I won't take much time. I have been here about 20 minutes. I will complete in that time. Now, what do we look at future farming? It is not just food grains. It is a lot of horticulture, agroforestry, livestock, fisheries, aquaculture. It goes on. So it's that kind of diversified canvas that we are talking of. It's more of food production systems where you have to get more from less for more people. And it's a shift from starch to protein. Because today we are talking of this kind of food. At the same time, when it comes to hunger index, India is not at a very, very happy situation, because starch, we produce a lot of starch, wheat, rice, maize, and so on. But what we require is more protein. And let me also tell you, today farming is in a distress mode. I must confess this, but the point is, can we move towards secondary agriculture? Can we have a specialty agriculture brought in, and people like you can make a difference in agriculture? So it is an entire spectrum of agriculture to food, to nutrition, to health, to employment and environment. And in this context, as I mentioned, farmers want to be called by as agripreneurs, and that's where we are talking to agri-innovators. These are a group of 200 farmers who today, like you unveiled this innovative bicycle, and this people, and they are innovating in remote villages. What they want today is a platform to bring before the society. So can we do something like this? The doubling farmers' income is being discussed for the last about 6 years now, and that's where we are trying to integration, diversification, clustering, cutting costs. Very important. Only technology can cut costs of cultivation. Only technology can enhance efficiencies. That's why we are looking to new stakeholders like you. When you are in engineering, when you are in technology, you move towards precision. And one thing that's lacking in Indian agriculture is precision. So that's what we want as an input here. So that's why we keep talking about climate smart farming. Climate smart, energy smart, nutrient smart, whatever we give is input. How to have smart farming where you can contribute a great deal. Just for an example, we spend about 1,600 liters of water to produce 1 kg of paddy, not rice, paddy. 1 kg of paddy requires 1,600 liters of water. And banana, coconut, I can go on. But the point is, can we become more smart? And that's where we are looking at the smart interventions. MSMEs can play a great role in these small interventions, making big differences. Or it could be nano fertilizers. Today, a point was made, seed, fertilizer input and so on. Today we are moving towards nano fertilizers, nanotechnology is coming in. Can you come in there? Agricultural biotechnology is not always GM crops. A mistaken notion is biotechnology is always GM. No, it's beyond GM. Many things. The tissue culture, the genomics that you know today when the pandemic is going on, everybody knows what is the PCR and the genome technique. And that's why we are trying to have new techniques of genome editing. Let me tell you, many startups have come into agricultural biotechnology. In Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Pune and so on. Now, Indian seed market, Honorable Vice Chancellor is a specialist in seeds. Today, Indian seed market is more than about $4 billion. And it's going to $5 to $6 billion. You can play a role there. Now, I'm not going to the cereals, which is in abundant production, more than 250 million tons. What we are talking about today is pulses, the oil seeds. Then again, there are canvas available. Millets as health foods. Again, number of products. Horticulture produce fruits, vegetables, as I said, more than 300 million tons. And thanks to Israel Embassy, you said you already have set up, like in pomegranate, like in tomato, these possibilities. Now, can we have more entrepreneurs coming into processing? Yerking, for example. Can you come into this primary processing of fruits and vegetables? And Karnataka is in the fore, it's an horticulture state, it's a milk state, it's a silk state. So you have complete opportunities in this. Now this is what looks like Karnataka horticulture is a diversified canvas. High value crops, possibilities, it could be nutri farms, design farms, it could be urban agriculture, terrace farming, protected cultivation, vertical farming. These are things happening in the country, maybe in the state of Kerala, maybe in the state of Himachal Pradesh. Can we take it further? Can we scale them up? Organic farming was mentioned. This is again such a huge canvas for organic farming with that kind of a premium price. Now, there are entrepreneurs. Let me also tell you, sir, when we studied the agri startups, 95% of the entrepreneurs are engineers. So we tried to ask them, why did you get into agriculture? They said, yes, we had some rural background, my parents were in agriculture, let me try. No, that we are very happy that this new talent is coming into agriculture. This is what happening here, whether it's biofortification and the connect with the Indian health food industry, huge opportunities. In and around Bangalore, people are getting into this area. Or the integrated pest management, we require a lot of inputs from engineers. Or when it comes to livestock, let me tell you, we are about 137 crore population in terms of human population. We are also about 50 crore, livestock, 20 crores of cattle, 10 crores of buffalo, and sheep and goat and so on. Again, many people getting into this domain of livestock products. It could be dairy, poultry, piggery, and sheep rearing and so on, with profit, with huge profit. Some of the indigenous breeds 30 liters, 40 liters per day, people are getting into dairy farming, or the outlook is $150 billion in industry in the coming years. That is the national outlook. Cultured meat, another opportunity. These are new areas, but people are interested. The youngsters, particularly the student friends who are here, many of them are getting into this kind of a domain. But what they require is hand-holding, some kind of a support, some kind of finance that they require. Fish. We are a coastal state, Karnataka, for example, 300 kilometers of coastline, and we are number 2 in aquaculture in the whole world. And then this is another possibility, people getting into cage farming, sea farming, coastal pearl culture, and so on. And agri-tourism is another thing catching up, and people in different farms are having this. These are all pictures from the states, from Kerala, from Uttarakhand, and so on. The local innovations. Friends, we require your help. There are many farmers innovating daily. They come up with new products. But only thing is they don't get the scale, they don't get the platform, they don't, for example, IT. IT is we talk in cities, but they don't get access to that kind of a. So this is where TechBharat, INS, New York can set up platforms with the University of Agricultural Sciences, with Mr. Chris Goparachan's guidance, and we can set up agri platforms where these people can be given that kind of a priority and position in the society. The second green revolution, the first one we talked about, was Ms. Soumyathanji. The first green revolution was 60 years back. So can we have the second green revolution in terms of value addition, secondary agriculture, already Make in India, several things are happening at a very small, in small talukas, these kind of products are being produced, and we are happy that, for example, from rice, we only know rice grain, we know rice bran, we know the rice husk. Beyond that, we don't talk of it. But today 20 products are available, are possible from rice, just rice. Vietnamese villages have become prosperous just by rice. From cotton, nano-cellulose production. So we have the techniques and technologies, but they need to be scaled up with an investment, and kindly help us out on this. Now coming to food processing, because in the agri and food tech, we have produced so much of food, at the same time we waste 15 to 20% of the food we produce. The official estimate is 1 lakh crore rupees every year. We have estimated in 18 different commodities, and it comes to 6 to 18%. In some cases like fish or the vegetables could be even 1/3 we are wasting, and that's where we require interventions. We have this kind of recipes across the country, 17,000 official recipes. And then here, what is required today is an intervention in terms of processing, in terms of reducing losses, in terms of good packaging. We require good packaging interventions. So MSMEs can play a very big role in this aspect. No, I won't go into this detail, but today the fastest growing sector in the economy, of course after the robots and sensors and AIs, is next one is the food tech. Sometimes they record growth rates of 12 to 15%. Now, can we get into this area and different methods of processing? We were only looking at freezing and some kind of traditional method, but today the microwave, radio frequency, non-thermal, and all kinds of non-destructive methods. You can get into these areas. So at this time, what we are talking of is primary to secondary agriculture. It could be grain processing, it could be millets. It could be the potato, material like potato, the sweet, coconut sweet chips. Instead of selling coconut raw, the labor cost. In Canada, for example, we pay 650 to 700 rupees daily just for plucking coconuts. So people give up paddy, coconut cut, that kind of thing. But here, diversification, specialized products, immense possibilities, or it could be the fatty acids, the fermentation sector, just by floriculture, the kind of value addition that can happen. I talked of the fiber, different kinds of fibers, having blended fibers from banana and pineapple into cotton. This is possible. And then the mushroom cultivation, for example, edible insects. In Northeast India, the edible insect domain is another possibility. Edible seaweeds and nutraceuticals from aquatic organisms. At this time, esteemed friends, we require this fusion very badly. Atmanirbhar Bharat, 75 years to 100 years of Bharat, we grew in silos. Today we require absolute synergy convergence, and that's where we are asking for these new technologies. It could be water management, big data analytics, digital farming, and each one, let me tell you, are all at the pilot scale. They need to be scaled up. Robots, I mentioned about the coconut plucking cost. We have the robots, but they are not finally scaled up. They are not finally there. They climb the trees, but they cannot handle the weight of the coconut. We are at that stage now. The drones. Only last week, the Honorable Prime Minister launched this mission of 1,000 drones and so on. In agriculture, there is another possibility. Imaging technologies, and this is what our farmers look like. Let me tell you, we are asked whether our farmers are receptive to new technologies. They are absolutely not. They are not studying 7th grade, but when it comes to new technology, you go to villages flooded with smartphones. Old women like this, they are so anxious to listen to weather advisories, market advisories, climate and so on. And that's why we are talking about smart farming for small farmers. Smart farming for small farmers, 90% of the 65 crore population of this country who are in agriculture, it's absolutely 14 crore farming families. So in sum, it comes to 65 crore people depend on agriculture. 90% of them in small farming. They need help. Like telemedicine, like many other things that we are talking about, they need new technologies very badly. I won't go into this detail, but I already talked about it. 90% is going to be small. In Karnataka, in the very state of Karnataka, different districts, these people have made a big difference. For example, Chandra, no rains, but integrated farming, and you travel to Chitradurga district, the kind of integrated farming they are doing is amazing. But what they are, for example, now the ODOP, one district, one product, is another possibility. And we require an agri-business ecosystem for these farmers to be enabled. And it will be inputs for the students and also keep telling about farming is not just sowing and harvesting. And that's where is the misconception in the society also. They hesitate admitting children into agriculture. They keep asking me, is there enough science? Is there so much technology and all that? We have been talking to the parents and children that as much science in medicine is in agriculture. As much science in engineering is in agriculture. So agriculture is the upcoming area, and that's where we are talking of these kinds of agribusiness possibilities. Several domains, because of time, lack of time, I won't go into detail. But the big firms who are into agri-tech, could be Infosys, you came from there, sir, small measures, but in Tata, Tech Mahindra, and so on. Now this way we are talking of the agri-incubators and the startups. The point has already been made by Dr. E.V. Raman Reddy ji. I won't go into detail, but the point is, we have at least around 60 domains clearly drawn up for agri startups to come in and invest. So we also studied a few startups, what they are doing and so on. Also we looked at their financing, how it's happening, and then these details are available for you to go further. Now at this stage, as I said, these are the areas. So fortunately, Honorable Agriculture Minister Shri B.C. Patil ji, who is not here, he set up a committee to formulate a policy for agri startups in Karnataka. And Dr. Prashant was there, he was the Vice Chairman, Dr. Chetty was there, Honorable Vice Chancellor. So we prepared a agri startup policy, we have submitted it. We thought it could be like this, maybe in the next 8 to 10 years, we thought it could be even 5,000 startups, agri startups in the state of Karnataka, a possibility, a projection which needs to be facilitated. Very quickly, these are youngsters, farmers in our remote villages who have made a difference, and they are becoming startups. I don't want to detail. For example, near Gundlupet, pig farming. It's goat farming near Angel goats, and the person there, he sells goat milk in the city of Bangalore, 300 rupees a litre. I mean, these things keep going because there are Mahindras in agriculture also. Only that much I would like to tell you. Or for example, this coconut with a screw cap, this person from Mysore sells it at 5 rupees extra price, and then bamboo water bottles, it goes on. Now at this stage, we are only talking about a change from STEM to STEAM, science, technology, and mathematics, to science, technology, engineering, agriculture. And because why not? 50% of population, agricultural economy, so we are talking about this change. At this time, we have platforms like this. Can we bring up entrepreneurship right from schools and colleges? With your help, it's possible. I would like to once again thank you very much, esteemed President and the General Secretary of the Lagu Udyog Bharati for this opportunity. And what we want to say is, agriculture is everybody's business. It is, it's not just the agricultural scientists or the universities. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Abraham, Council for Trade and in India to showcase Israel to our audience.
I will start by acknowledging the Minister who I already left, but Shri B.C. Patel, Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Karnataka, Dr. E.V. Ramanan Reddy, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, Department of IT, BT, and SD, Government of Karnataka, Shri Chris Krishnan, former CEO, Infosys Technologies and Chairman, Axela Ventures, Professor Dr. Subhana Ayappan, Honorable Chancellor, Central Agricultural University in and Chairman, Karnataka Science and Technology Academy, Dr. S. Rajendra Prasad, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Agricultural Sciences, UAS, Bangalore, Shri Sachin B. Sabnis, President, Lavya Udya Bharati, Karnataka, Shri Narayana Prasanna, General Secretary, Udya Bharati, Karnataka, all exhibitors who have put up your stalls, distinguished members, participants, and invitees. Good afternoon, I think, to you all. Namaste and Shalom. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all the distinguished guests present here today to participate in the third edition of TechBharat. It is always a great pleasure to be part of the TechBharat event focusing on agri-tech and food tech sectors, which play a very significant role in the global economy and surely in the Israeli and Indian economies. Israel is known for its leading technology and innovation, especially in these sectors. The lack of natural resources forced Israel to develop innovative methods and technologies for growing more with less under difficult conditions. As I just now mentioned about innovation, we have over 400 companies that offer agri-tech solutions and leading academic institutions such as the Agricultural Research Organization, ARO, the Hebrew University, the Weizmann Institute, the Technion, Ben Gurion University, and Tel Aviv University. Israel can collaborate with India. We have changed dramatically our exports from oranges to high-tech. In 1949, citrus made up 66% of our exports. In 2020, food and agriculture comprised only 5%. Israel's inventions have changed the face of agriculture from drip irrigation to a kit that enables gravity to irrigate where there is no water pressure in rural areas. Anaerobic digesters that convert organic waste into methane gas and liquid fertilizer, biological pest control, enhancing flavor and shelf life of cherry tomatoes, and thereby making them more marketable. Innovation is definitely, in drip irrigation, is constantly evolving to other fields like soil research and digital prediction tools. Traditional agriculture has to make way for more ag tech. And it will also come place in with large corporations, as was just now mentioned. Robotics, sensors, cloud computing have become core technologies. As was again mentioned, it has to go from science. Robotics, drones can be used for complex tasks, such as spraying, weeding, fruit picking, nut harvesting, and even crop monitoring. Sensors can even give us real-time information on moisture levels, sunlight, wind speed, and other factors. Again, it was mentioned by a previous speaker that we need to deal with the small farmers. Growers can then collect, store, analyze massive amounts of data without the need for expensive capital costs. I am again repeating that it's all connected with the small farmer. And the web can definitely provide a way for this information to be shared so that it can influence positively the supply chain. AI, artificial intelligence in agriculture, will also help farmers to maximize their yields using minimal resources. In precision farming, Israel's large and growing precision agtech offer advanced data collection and analysis technologies for more efficient and productive farming. The constant growth in agricultural production is due to the close cooperation between researchers, farmers, and agriculture-related industries to develop and apply new methods in all agricultural sectors. Again, as was mentioned previously, scientists and engineers have to be taken more apart in agriculture. India is an agricultural giant, and this sector plays a major role in India's economy. From what I understand, the GDP and more than close to 50% of the country's rural households depend on agriculture as a means of livelihood. Half of all workers are employed in the sector. But industrialization, global population growth, and changing eating habits are resulting in increased demand for nutrient-rich food such as fruits and vegetables and meat in India and worldwide. While India's agriculture represents a vast opportunity for farmers to increase crop yields and productivity, and they also have to increase the farmers' welfare, the prosperity and security. These are challenges that innovation and technology adapted to the complexities and unique characteristics of the Indian market is the way to growth and development and to ensure success. Areas of agriculture for Israeli innovation include hybrid seeds, biopesticides, irrigation, farm machinery, advice, knowledge sharing, resource management, and precision agriculture, post-harvest and integrated value chains. Implementation can be through partnerships with established players, with nationwide distribution networks, smallholder farming, local production, and choosing the right marketing strategies. I just want to mention a few global agtech, food tech firms in 2020. That's actually on the internet. We're looking at agtech startups that have acquired approximately 103 million in equity investment back in 2020. Which on par with actually major nations like Australia and India. But the growing trend toward an industry-wide resurgence driven by robust global demand for clean, efficient, and sustainable technology is required. A well-established reputation for excellence in the world like robotics, science, AI, and software, Israeli startups have taken a very generous slice of the food tech pie. The demand for these technologies has skyrocketed, and rising temperatures and accelerated diversification will put a tremendous strain on the world's food and water supply. Agtech will be one of the most important industries on earth. A few startups I'll mention. Doxmatech is a startup that has developed a patented sugar reduction solution that retains the texture, sweetness, and appearance of sugar. InnovoPro is a startup that creates sustainable food products made from chickpeas. Future Meat Technologies, as the previous speaker mentioned also, is an Israeli company that develops lab-grown meat and is building its first cultured meat production plant near Tel Aviv. TasteWise is an Israeli AI food trends prediction and intelligence startup. InFarm is an Israeli-founded Berlin-based developer of modular smart farms that operate on IoT and machine learning. And CropX is an agriculture analytics company that has developed an irrigation service to optimize irrigation. The company taps into the power of big data, machine learning, and cutting-edge cloud-based software in the soil to boost agricultural output. I will conclude by giving a few notes on what we do. We at the Economic and Trade Office at the Consulate General of Israel in Bangalore would like to collaborate and cooperate with Bharat Tech to promote activities in both AgTech and food tech sectors and in their respective verticals. Our activities include webinars, seminars, virtual delegations to India, individual company meetings between Indian and Israeli companies, and hopefully in the near future, we hope to see Israeli and Indian delegations meeting in each other's countries after COVID. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Lagya, Udyag, Bharati Karnataka and IMS Foundation for providing me a platform for sharing a few thoughts today with you. Thank you and shalom.
Thanks a lot, sir, for presenting Israel to our audience. India greatly looks at Israel to emulate some of the best agri and food tech innovations. We need your support and guidance to take this forward in terms of collaborations and tech transfer. I now request Dr. S. Rajendra, University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore, to kindly address the presentation.
Good afternoon to all of you. Respected dignitaries on the dais. Just now, our Honorable Minister has inaugurated and even the valuable citizens just left the editorial to attend some of this meeting, Sri D.C. Patil ji, and our guest of honor, Sri Krish Gopal Krishnan ji, the former CEO in Infosys Technologies and Chairman, and also our Dr. E. Raman Reddy, who was also from the agricultural background, a PhD in agronomy from APAU. He also addressed and given a lot of information about the avenues, how we can catch it to establish the startups, so just yes what. And also just now the different presentation made by Sri Joseph Abraham about the opportunities and how the support is going to extend. And the chairman of the LUB, Mr. Sachin Sarvati, and the secretary Narayan Prasannaji, and my another colleague Dr. Chetty, and also Dr. Reddy from Nepal, and many vice chancellor Dr. Raju, and some of the entrepreneurs, my dear students, and also the exhibitors. My dear students, kindly make use of the exhibitions which are, exhibited many informations which is relevant to us, and also print and media. At the beginning, at the outset, I would like to thank the two organizations, that is this LUB and also the IMS organization for taken initiative to organize this program in collaboration with US Bangalore. In fact, when they approached me, then I asked their objectives and other things. They said this is the one which is going to open an eye for our younger generations. Then I thought, let me invite my final year students and also the students of the MSc and the PhD, those who are even outside also, so that they can make use of this opportunity to make them as an entrepreneur in the field of agriculture. So just another the important thing which I always share my things with Honorable our Ayyappan Saab. Sir, thank you so much for the excellent presentations you have given. I think, dear students, so he has clearly mentioned about the different areas how we can venture with a lot of examples which he has quoted. Friends, this is one of the platform where it can create an opportunity to interact, collaborate with the different agencies, including the public and the private sectors, and also the leaders and the investors and the change agents, and also in the from different ecosystem. See, when the Honorable Minister has mentioned about in his inaugural address, he mentioned one thing, that is ITBT, those who are putting all the kinds of things, they are entering to our farmer, towards farmer, and this is one of the important, noteworthy things which we have to, appreciate. That was the thing he has mentioned. And he has mentioned about how many startups are there, how the government is supporting the startups. One word which he has mentioned, if at all you want to ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಕೃಷಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಲೋಗನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅವರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So I must thank him, and I hope you will derive satisfaction by entering in this agri entrepreneurship in the future. When our Krish Gopal Krishnan was mentioning in his speech, he mentioned two things. One is all the things which are starting from the seed till it reaches the market. So we need to have a different kind of interventions, for which he has suggested the business models by taking the example of the coffee. That's one thing. But he has clearly mentioned, if at all we have to sustain in the market and to create the market in the export, the quality is the one thing. He has clearly mentioned the coffee which was grown by the tribals, especially in the Andhra Pradesh, it is fetching almost 10 times more than the normal coffee. That means such kind of technology and the product is there, but only thing is how we should take it to the our national and the international market. So similarly, we have a lot of products, especially in the Chamarajanagar area where our Honorable Padma Shri Ayyappan plays that. So we are producing the honey from that area. It is highly demanded. Again, turmeric. So like that, there are so many opportunities are there. I hope this can be taken into a global level by the intervention of the people who are submitted here. The major problem which I was also, listening from the many of our startups and other things, only problem, even we also started with some of the NGOs and FEOs, give them a training with the different products. Since it is the food tech things which we are discussing, sir, we have the Millet Center of Excellence, and we have trained lakhs of people, and now they have become, producers of different products, especially the nutri-rich products. Today we are talking about the food productions, but also we have the challenge of to address the nutritional security. In that aspect, how we can, get into the system, in the sense the agri startup can address these challenges. So keeping this, we have trained many people, and today also, when we have interacted of the training and other things, they said, sir, we have enough knowledge, enough technology, we are going to produce whatever the kind of products you need, but only thing we need to get into the market. This is one of the problem our, lot of the entrepreneurs, especially the rural entrepreneurs. I am talking about the rural entrepreneurs who are not much aware of the market in the nations as well as in the global level. So I feel this platform can also look into these kind of things, how we can promote. So yesterday I was, when one of the functions, the Vijay Karnataka, the publishers, the media people have given the awards to all the states. Yesterday it was from the Bangalore Rural. I was also jury for the selections of the Vijay Karnataka, the Star Raita. So I could see a lot of, the innovations have been made by the farmer. Just I will quote an example. One farmer is rearing a rabbits and is supplying the rabbits to the different the organizations who they do the kind of research and injecting those things. This is so many things. I mean rabbits and also not the rabbits. Rats, and they are also rearing the rabbits for the other purpose. So this is they have come. Yesterday we honored them also. So similarly, one lady, she is an engineer. She was a software engineer working in the America for almost 6-7 years, and she resigned and she started going for the vertical agriculture and horticulture. As our Dr. Ayyappan sir has mentioned, there is a scope for the vertical agriculture. She was doing hydroponics as well as the hydroponics and aeroponics, and she is having huge amount. Now she is marketing her products to the global. So this is the kind of things yesterday we honored her. So that way, there are a lot of technologies are there, but how to make this technology into product and the service, which should be, one of the commercial things which we have to look. I think this platform is really helping them to do this. So again, when our Raman Reddy has clearly mentioned about the avenues, MSMEs, opportunities, Atmanirbhar program, so many things, and also 50 lakhs to be given to the people who are going to. So one of the problem, because I used to interact with my students, we normally conduct one in the same auditorium there. One science week we are going to conduct for the students who are going to complete the PhD and also MSc. And we are also keeping competitions for the students to come out with the kind of innovative ideas. We honor them, and also we invite the people like investors and somebody. And the idea is good, they are going to take it up. This is the one initiative. 4 days we conduct. So in that, lot of technology from our own students are there. But only to take it forward, we need a platform. I think this is going to help us. There, we also requested the investor. Our students are ready, but only we need the initial money. That means the seed money they needed. So for which I think this kind of things is going to help us. Then he also mentioned about the cold storage and other logistics and the central instrumentation facilities. So these are all the things which he has mentioned. So similarly, just our Ayyappan sir. So there is no need to say, almost with these presentations, he has mentioned different areas how we can become an entrepreneur. But one point which he has mentioned, our entrepreneurs should address to the large group of farmers, that is 90% or more than 85% small and the marginal farmers. So this is our challenge to address. And the another main innovation he has mentioned about the aquaculture and also agri-tourism. In fact, we are trying in many platforms, so why can't we have this agri-tourism? Because many states, especially in the Kerala and other neighboring states in the Maharashtra, they are doing a wonderful business and also communicating how agriculture is important, and which is not only doing the business, which is also helping us to attract the people towards the agriculture. So this is the status. So that way, so there are so many avenues there. So finally, just I would like to mention about how we are helping and supporting. Yesterday, sir, we called one joint director, the deputy director of MSME, and we have organized the one training program, one lecture to our students, how we can develop the skill, how this skill can be converted into entrepreneurship. This is one. So like that, we have initiated many of the things. So similarly, another thing which we have initiated here is Honorable CM has announced, that is Secondary Agriculture Separate Directorate. As Dr. Ayyappan mentioned, today if at all we want to double the farmers' income, if we all want to create more number of entrepreneurship, I think we have to focus more on the secondary agriculture, where the separate directorate has been formed. Of course, this directorate should get the support of all the entrepreneurs, all the investors, so that it can flourish. This is one point which I would like to mention. So with this, another one example yesterday I could see from the farmers' innovation, waste to the wealth. So they are converting most of the waste material into the product which can be used as fertilizers and other things. Even this was introduced in their own the Gram Panchayati and selling the product. So these are so many kind of avenues are there. I wish this platform really for our young students and the participants going to get the benefit out of all the presentations, going to deliberate for another 2 days, today, tomorrow and day after. I think the benefits, at least my students, at least some of the students is going to become an entrepreneur by making use of this. With this, thank you very much, and I wish all the best for the great success of this program. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir, for advising students to opt agriculture as a career.
as this is a game changer sector in the coming years. To host TechBharat 3.0. So because of University of Agricultural Science and the team support from the university, we are able to event. I now request a word of thanks and formally close today's session.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, Sri Chris Gopalakrishnan, former CEO of Infosys Technologies and Chairman of Accelerar Ventures, Professor Dr. Subarna Yethan, Honorable Chancellor, Central Agricultural University, Sri Joseph Abraham, Consul of Trade and Economic Affairs of Israel in India, Dr. S. Rajendra Prasad, Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Agricultural Science, Bangalore, our President Sri Sachin Sarnis, all the exhibitors who have put their stalls here, and distinguished members and participants present here, a very good afternoon to you all. On behalf of Lagudin Bharati Karnataka and IMS Foundation, may once again extend a warm welcome to you all. It was always a great privilege to see such a large gathering of government officials from both state and central, industrial captains, thought leaders, domain experts from agri and food technology. We had our chief guest B.C. Patil, Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Government of Karnataka. Because of his engagement in Vidhan Sabha for the session, he left earlier. We really proud of him and with his encouraging words. It is very helpful for all agri and technology startups. Definitely, Government of Karnataka's vision has been expressed by him. I propose a very heartily vote of thanks to him on behalf of Lagudin Bharati and TechBharat 22, the flagship event jointly hosted by Lagudin Bharati and IMS Foundation. I am proud to say that along with the Government of Karnataka, several other institutions are associated with this event, and such event basically showcase the capabilities and abilities of the state for the outside world. These programs hugely build brand equity for faster growth of Karnataka's economy. The first pre-event was held in Belgaum during January 1st week, and this is the connecting event. And the final event is going to be held on May 19th, 20th and 21st in Mysore CFTI campus. At the outset, I would like to take this opportunity to assure that Lagudin Bharati will continue to cooperate and partner with the state and central government and other private sector organizations and academia for improving overall business environment in the state. We look forward all the stakeholders to help and guide us in making this partnership full for the benefit of industry and overall economy of the country. I would like to sincerely thank Dr. E.V. Raman Reddy, Additional Chief Secretary, Department of ITBT and Science and Technology, Government of Karnataka, Sri Chris Gopalakrishnan, former CEO of Infosys Technologies, Dr. Subarna Yethan, Honorable Chancellor, Central Agricultural University, Sri Joseph Abraham, Consul of Trade and Economic Affairs of Israel in India, and Dr. S. Rajendra Prasad, Honorable Vice Chancellor of University of Agricultural Science, Bangalore, who have provided us the excellent campus to host this program. With a round of applause, I thank you once again. on behalf of the Inauguration Party and IMS Foundation, we would like to once again thank you, each one of you, for taking time out of your busy schedule and attending our this excellent program. My personal thanks to all the exhibitors who have graciously accepted our invitation and participated here. I also thank media and press friends for coordinating with us and not taking much of your time. Once again, I thank each one of you. Thank you.